Good evening, my name's Karen Matthews and I teach A-Level Accounting at the Havant Campus of Havant and South Downs College. I've got a small presentation that I would like to share with you to explain a little bit about what A-Level Accounting is all about. It's not likely to have been a subject studied in any great depth at GCSE level, so it's new to most students. So why accounting then? So there are excellent career opportunities, really well-paid opportunities as an accountant or bookkeeper. Accountancy is the language of business, so no business can operate without a good understanding of its finances. And A-Level Accounting particularly offers many transferable skills. So you learn money management, you learn about budgeting, and about behaving ethically in the business world. So they say that money makes the world go round, and everyone relies on money, and the successful handling of and accounting for finance is what A-Level Accounting is all about. So you start off with basic bookkeeping, and you learn about how that's done, and then you build up to final accounts for a range of businesses. So that's the financial side. You'll also learn about management accounting, so about budgeting and forecasting. So whether you want to be an accountant or run your own business, or you just wish to survive in the business world, this could be the ideal subject for you. So in terms of maths, you don't need to be a brilliant mathematician. You do need to have an enjoyment of figures though. Enjoy solving problems. We often have quite a few problems that need solving in accounting, and maybe even enjoy mathematical puzzles like the Sudoku puzzle here. So if you're numerate, logical, organised, and above all literate, then A-Level Accounting could be for you. So the literacy is very important. As accountants, we have to crunch the numbers, that's obvious, but we also need to explain the figures as well. So in terms of entry requirements, 5 GCSEs at grade 4 and above, and there's some suggestions there of other subjects that go alongside accounts very well. So maths, further maths, economics, business, computing, law. This isn't an exhaustive list. This is probably one of the list of the most popular combinations, but students study anything from geography to sociology alongside. Course structure, the course is linear like all the A-levels now. So there's just one set of exams, 2 exams of 3 hours each at the end of the second year. We've got an overview here of what's studied in year 1. So as I mentioned before, the role of the accountant in business, bookkeeping, preparing income statements, balance sheets for sole traders. We call them statements of financial position now, but most people still know them as profit and loss accounts and balance sheets. We also do financial statements for companies. We look at accounting concepts, so the rules that govern accounting. Ratio analysis, so performance analysis of businesses, and budgeting and marginal costing, so lots of management accounting there. In the second year, we build on what we've learned in the first year. We look at incomplete records, so what happens when a business hasn't kept proper accounting records. We look at partnership accounts, we look at the accounts of published PLCs, and we look at accounting regulations and ethics. So we look at the audit regulatory framework and how we can behave ethically as businesses and as accountants. There's also a large chunk of management accounting in year 2. So this is all about budgeting, costing, forecasting, analysing variances, and making decisions about whether or not to invest in projects. So how will you be taught? It's a very practical subject, so the teaching relies very heavily on the teacher showing you how something's done, and then lots of opportunity to practice and apply your knowledge. So a bit like maths really in school. Assessment, you'll be assessed throughout the course with a series of in-class tests, homework most weeks. There's also a mock exam at the end of the first year, which you need to pass in order to progress on to the second year. And then, as I mentioned, the end of the second year, you'll have 2 exams, 3 hours each, which will test everything you've learned over the 2 years of the course. So what can you do afterwards? You could proceed to higher education. So you could study accounting and finance at a higher level, or undertake a more general degree course, something like business with finance. It would help towards that. I've had students go on to study law, and they found accounting really useful when dealing with finances from a legal perspective. You could go on and do some professional qualifications straight from college. You could take up a higher apprenticeship where you do your AAT exams and then go on to become a chartered accountant, or you might just use it to go towards more general opportunities in business. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. They'll be directed to me, I think, via our marketing team. Thanks very much for listening.
Hello, and welcome to this short introduction to A-Level Business. This A-Level Business course introduces you to all you need to know about working in business, providing a solid foundation for further study. With a focus on helping you to become a good decision maker, you'll learn essential managerial skills alongside techniques to help you become an analytical problem solver. These skills are all highly sought after and valued in a wide range of careers. Through A-level business studies, you'll engage with the world of business through the context of current business developments and real business situations. You'll learn how management, leadership and decision making can improve performance in marketing, operations, financial and human resources. You'll also explore the interrelated nature of business activities and how they affect businesses, be they large or small, UK or internationally focused, and in different sectors such as service or manufacturing. A-level business is an excellent course for any student who either wishes to work in the business world, who may wish to set up and run their own business, or for someone who is unsure of the career path they wish to take. And as such, this course offers one of the widest varieties of potential careers as a result. Our entry requirements are similar to all subjects across the college, a grade 4 or above in a minimum of 5 subjects, including maths and English. There is no prerequisite for students to study this course in terms of GCSE business. 95% of our students have not studied GCSE business at school because those schools do not offer this as a subject, so please don't worry. In terms of how the course is set up, it's split into 10 units across the 2 years. In year 1, you'll study units 1 to 6, and this provides students with an introduction to key business areas such as marketing, operations, finance, and human resource management. This includes a special focus on decision making, particularly how decisions are made in one area that can affect the rest of the business. In year 2, we'll study units 7 through to 10, and this provides a student with an investigation of the strategic decisions that all businesses have to make. Year 2 is more real life and focused on the issues that businesses have to make on a day-by-day basis and how factors outside of their control, such as coronavirus, can impact them either positively or negatively. Our exam is split into 3, each 2 hours in length, all worth 100 marks each paper, a total of 300 marks. On average, to achieve a C grade, a student needs 137 marks out of 300. The exams are a mixture of questions from multiple choice, calculations, short answer questions, case study, and essay-based questions with a maximum of 25 marks. We also offer enrichment activities. One is our visit to New York. So in addition to spending 6 days visiting the traditional tourist places, we'll also visit a number of large multinational businesses. So we visited Facebook, Google, Instagram, and Pinterest, and given students the opportunity to see the inner workings of a real-life business, to go backstage, if you like, where others don't get the opportunity, and to see how and what's discussed on the A-level course is put into practice. We also offer the Entrepreneurial Enrichment Programme, where students who are considering or know that they want to set up their own real-life business can have that opportunity to pitch for investment, anywhere between 100 to, let's say, perhaps £1,000. They set up, they run a business, and any profit that they get at the end, they get to keep themselves. If you'd like to study business, finance, or management at university, A-level business provides an excellent foundation. The skills you learn are transferable across a broad range of subjects and careers. Whatever you choose to do in the future, you'll find that things you learn in this course will help. For example, you'll probably work with lots of different people, so knowledge of motivational theory will help you to work well with others and help them achieve their potential. You might have ambitious plans to start your own business. If that's the case, you'll find marketing and finance topics particularly useful. A-level business studies open up many options for students at university, and there are many courses available with permutations of business management, administration, accounting, finance, and economics. Business and management graduates typically progress to careers in areas such as business development, marketing, recruitment, and banking, although plenty of other options are available. In terms of subjects that this works well with, in truth, it works well with every subject across college. We do have a lot of students that do undertake business, economics, accounting, business, accounting, and law. We have a number that do psychology, sociology, and politics, but it works well with all. Well, we look forward to seeing you in September.
Welcome to the presentation for economics at Havant and South Downs College on the Havant Campus. My name's Simon Foster, and I'll be giving you a quick overview of the course in this short presentation. So we study OCR economics as an exam board at the Havant Campus, which is a 2-year course divided into 2 main sections. In the first year, students study microeconomics, and in the second year, students study macroeconomics. Well, we have a number of students that study Business A Level at the college, and whereas business looks at one particular business, microeconomics looks at a particular industry in isolation, such as the oil industry or the car manufacturing industry or the fashion industry, for example. And this then allows us to develop models for that industry and see how individual things such as price, demand and supply change within that industry. We also look at how many firms there are in that industry, what we call the concentration ratio, from one firm, a monopoly like Railtrack, to many firms and an infinite number of firms in the perfect competition model, and then compare that model to real life. And we also study labour markets and what's going on in the changing UK labour market as part of microeconomics. For macroeconomics, we go up another level and look at an entire economy. And that includes things like inflation, unemployment, economic growth, and how different economies around the world develop. And macroeconomics has proved very popular at the moment. There have been major changes to the macroeconomy due to COVID-19. So, for example, we're studying things like the end of the furlough scheme at the end of October and the start of the job retention scheme at the beginning of November, and how that is likely to affect the UK unemployment statistics and the wider UK economy. For materials, we use OCR Economics 4th edition as our main textbook by Peter Smith, published by Hodder Education. And rather than paying £36 for that, it's available to buy as an electronic copy through the college for £16 for a 2-year subscription for the whole course. And this then allows students to access the textbook on any electronic device and make their own notes electronically on their personal copy. We also have 2 video channels that we use, Econ Plus DAL, who you can see pictured there on the presentation, and also Tutor to You, and the websites are both given on the presentation. We also have a Google Classroom where all work and resources are placed. And that means, for example, students can watch videos from Econ Plus DAL or Tutor to You on their mobile devices whilst commuting into college, either by bus or train. Having electronic resources also means it's very easy to switch to Google Meet as a means of delivery in the event of a lockdown, so students can carry on learning at home. How the course is assessed? Well, there are 3 exams at the end of the course, each of which is 2 hours long, and each paper is worth 80 marks. Sample papers can be found at the OCR main website, www.ocr.org.uk, and the full address is given here on the presentation. For microeconomics, there's a series of short questions with a passage and 2 25-mark essays, and macroeconomics has the same structure as an exam as well. Then there's themes in economics, which brings all of the knowledge together with 30 multiple choice questions, and there's also a series of short questions with a passage, including 2 15-mark questions. Subjects that economics goes well with, well, I've already mentioned business, and about 50% of economics students do business. It's the best subject that goes along with economics. But we also have 33% of economics students doing accounting as well. And so there's a good number of students doing business, accounting, and economics as 3 subjects that go very well together. There's also maths. Although you only need a GCSE 4 in maths to do economics, a number of students do Maths A Level with economics as a subject, and the 2 subjects go very well together, as does politics, as both subjects require a good knowledge of current affairs. We have an economics society which runs every Wednesday for half an hour every week, and this is run by the students for the students. The sort of things they're getting up to include looking at mock essay schemes, mark schemes to help them improve their marks in essays, discussion groups, videos, and arranging attendance at conferences and digital conferences in order to boost their grades. We encourage participation in the society, as it's a good point to put on your CV for UCAS references or mention in your UCAS personal statement when applying to university. Entry requirements include 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, including maths and English language. And our students scored in the top 25% in economics last year in terms of outcomes. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. As I said, my name's Simon Foster. My email is simon.foster@hsdc.ac.uk. Look forward to hearing from you soon.
A-level law. Law is a system of rules that society or a government develops to deal with crime, business agreements, and social relationships. The A-level course content is 3 examinations at the end of 2 years. There's no coursework at all. We'll have a look at some of these in detail. The first exam is on the English legal system and criminal law. We start with the English legal system when you arrive at college, and we're looking at the role of solicitors and barristers. We're looking at what sentences are available and how people are sentenced. We also look at how civil actions are taken. The other part of the exam is on criminal law, and it's all the things you'd expect it to be. So things like theft, and also things like I did it but, the defences, I did it but I was drunk. In the exam, about half the marks on the paper will be for having memorised the definitions of theft or murder or assault, and then applying that law to a scenario to work out whether or not somebody is guilty. The second exam is about where we get our law from, and the other part of it is an area of law called tort. So we look at how Parliament makes law in Acts of Parliament, and how judges make law in cases. Sometimes there's an overlap in statutory interpretation when a word in an act needs to be interpreted. A famous case was about an act that talked about marry and whether or not a man could be guilty of marrying somebody when he was already married, because you can't make a contract with someone for marriage if you're already married. The other part of the exam is application again. So negligence, for example, you slip on a banana skin in Tesco's, it's been carelessly left there, you break your arm and you attempt to sue them. What are the rules about being able to do that? The final exam is nature of law and human rights. Nature of law is a little bit more jurisprudential, so we're thinking about things like, is law the same as morals, and whether or not the law achieves justice. By the time we do this part, we've learnt quite a lot about the law, so you know a lot of cases to support what you say. We look at 5 of the human rights, as you can see on the screen. One of them is your right to liberty. Quite an interesting right at the moment, given the number of protests that are going on. People do have a right to protest, but sometimes opposing groups get a bit agitated with each other. And the police have introduced something called kettling, which is where they form a tight ring around one group to prevent any violence. If you're stuck in a kettle, then you can be there for hours and you are clearly not at liberty. There's no act that allows the police to kettle, so it's quite a controversial thing for them to be doing. The law lessons consists of 5 hours a week, as with all A-levels, and we do lots of different things. Lecture styles, we do whole class discussion, sometimes we do role play, sometimes we do client solicitor work. In the last year, we've had a number of extracurricular activities. We have been to the Houses of Parliament and to the Supreme Court. We took part in a Supreme Court debate day where students were assisted by government lawyers. We often enter the bar mock trial competition. We went to a revision conference. We listened to Lady Hale in conversation at the University of Chichester. We also conduct mock interviews for students who have secured an interview at Oxford or Cambridge or one of the other top universities. The entry requirements are the same as for many A-levels, but we do ask that you have a grade 5 or above in English. It's important to be a confident and a competent English student because all of the assessment is in written English and you need to be able to communicate well in writing. Where do people go? Well, lots of our students go on to study law at university, but plenty don't. Some go into social work, some go into business, education,
Some go to apprenticeships. There are so many subjects that law works well with because it requires two quite separate skills. It needs the skill of logical thinking that you get with somebody who's good at science or maths, working your way logically from one point to another. It also goes well and requires people to have an interest in the wider world and how it fits into society. So clearly it goes well with politics and sociology and history and psychology. Of course, many students do English as well because of the need to write extended essays. Thank you.